Hakuna Matata. Howdy strangers, fancy seeing you all here again. The day is finally here, the Saturn origin. This origin was coded by a group of coders from the Minecraft Origins mod community, and their names are Zadroit, Jock, and Effimity. Huge ups to these three for working on it for so long and so hard. Amazing work by all of them. The ability ideas are by me and Zadroit, and it's for Minecraft version 1.17.1, and I will be taking it into survival in the second part of this video, so stick around for that. If you would like to download it, it's in the Origins Discord, which is linked below. All of the abilities have been made multiplayer compatible, so if you want it on a server, you don't have to worry about exploits. And with that all out of the way, let's get into the abilities. And for our description, it reads, Saturn, a deity born with both the limitless and the six eyes, his overwhelming power forming a god complex, and he suffers because of it. And if you can't already tell, this origin is heavily based on Gojo from Jujitsu Kaisen. And what can I say, I have a thing for anime origins, just like the Titan Shifter origin, or better known as the Attack on Titan origin. This origin leans more into the OP side, but it does suffer from some serious cons. Your first ability is passive, and it is called Limitless. The Limitless technique operates the same way convergent and divergent sequences do in mathematics. The infinity is a convergence of an immeasurable series. Anything that approaches the infinity slows down and never reaches the user. This is because the technique takes a finite amount of space between two subjects and divides it an infinite amount of times. And basically, this is complete and true projectile immunity. It will destroy any and all projectiles thrown your way, and yes, this does include tridents. Your primary ability is Black Flash, a distortion in space that occurs when cursed energy is applied within 1/1,000,000th seconds of a physical hit, causing the caster to dash instantly to the target, dealing damage while sending them into the air, from which can be followed up by a second hit, dashing the caster up to the target in the air, dealing additional damage, and this can be turned into a full combo if the caster lands the final hit while in the air, and the target gets smashed down into the ground, taking additional damage. Landing the full combo sequence reduces the cooldown by 75%. And here we have Curse Technique Lapse Blue, which is activated by your Save Toolbar activator. The Strengthened Limitless increases cursed energy to bring the concept of negative numbers and negative distance into reality. Doing so forces the area to fill in the negative space by drawing everything towards an impossibility, generating a force of attraction similar to a black hole. And this just pulls entities within a 15 block radius into the casted area, dealing 2.5 hearts of true damage every 3 seconds for a total of 8 seconds. Do keep in mind though, this is under construction currently, even though the origin is fully done. I do have one of the coders working on this ability to kind of make it a little bit more appealing and cooler, so this might change in the final release. Your next ability is Unlimited Void. The unlimited void presents the target with limitless information, forcing them to see and feel everything while feeling nothing at the exact same time. This phenomenon paralyzes the target with an infinite amount of knowledge, causing them to die slowly. This domain heightens your abilities while active, and after 30 seconds the target will be sent out of the domain. However, the caster can stay and leave as they please. And this applies slowness 10, blindness 10, wither 1 to the target for 15 seconds while they're there, and while you're in your void you also gain strength 1. For your last ability, which is toggled by your secondary key, gravity manipulation, the user manipulates and distorts space-time and can fluctuate gravity, creating force zones using it, allowing them to float, and using positive energy and combining it with limitless, you can boost yourself forward and fly properly. Now I do understand that all of this is incredibly overpowered and there is no argument there. Because it's based on Gojo, it's obviously going to be, but I didn't want this origin to just be a power trip ride. I really want that godlike feeling to actually mean something and had to be something that you have to earn, and I want it to be mostly based on your skill level, which is why I decided to include the following drawbacks to be coded into the origin. The first of those being God Complex. Your overwhelming power has created a God Complex within you, and you see others as lesser beings and often underestimate threats, causing you to take 1.3 times more damage from all sources. And next up, you have Shell Shock. Due to your ability to use powerful curse techniques and manipulate matter at will, you aren't used to anyone being able to hurt you, making you sometimes panic when it happens, and that can lead to situations like this. There's a 30% chance of getting slowness 10 and blindness 10 for 3 seconds on a hit. And on top of that, you have Psychotic Break. Losing half or more of your health messes with your God Complex and you begin doubting your abilities, and this gives you slowness 2 and weakness 1 for as long as you are under 4 hearts. Speaking of 4 hearts, this leads me into your next drawback, which is Frail. Despite your unique abilities, you're not very physically adept. Certain armor sets are simply too heavy for you, protections higher than chainmail specifically, and also because of this you only have 8 hearts of health instead of 10. And if you can't already tell, it's meant to be a very reward and consequence heavy origin. You have some insane abilities, but you get severely punished for being sloppy and rewarded for playing well and landing hits. Now finally, the moment you all have been anticipating probably for the entire video, the survival playthrough. Before that is a quick disclaimer about some of the changes and data packs I will be using during this playthrough. Alright, so just a quick intermission. I just want to stay on the same page so that there's no question as to what's going on. I'm going to be using 3 data packs in the survival playthrough. 2 of them are just things that I like to play with. They don't really change the gameplay. I mean, they change the gameplay, but it's nothing overpowered. One of them messes with a little bit of loot tables, but it's nothing really bad. Just, you'll see. So the one that changes the loot tables is Winter's Essentials, and the only thing that's really notable here is Luckier Diamonds. This doesn't change ore generation of diamonds, it just gives you a chance for a diamond ore block to drop 2 diamonds instead of 1. 50% chance of that since diamonds are so rare in 1.17. This helps out with that, but the most important thing is better plugin trades. This just makes it so you can get the things that you need to actually beat the game a little bit easier, but not at a rate in which it's just overpowered. So at the moment there's only like a 4% chance to get ender pearls from a trade, and that's ridiculously too slow, and I would not be able to beat the game in vanilla survival if I had to deal with those rates and still pump out a video every other day. Like, it's just impossible. I have tried, so this will help with that. Everything else is mostly negligible. There's smeltable redstone, and that gives you a lot of experience for smelting redstone blocks. I probably won't even be enchanting, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's mostly it. Cheaper netherite recipes. I won't be using netherite. I'm trying to beat the game as fast as I can. So yeah, that's the first data pack. And the next one is Terralith. And this just makes it so that 1.17 is essentially 1.18, the snapshots. It increases the world height and the depth and adds a bunch of new biomes. It's really cool. Highly recommend that you check it out. These links should be in the description below if you want to download them for yourself. And the last and most notable mod that I will have installed is the Abranium mod, and this adds 2 new levels of, I guess, tools and armor sets that are better than netherite and diamond. They're not overpowered, I mean, they are kind of overpowered, but I use the epic boss fight mod, so it kind of balances out. But I probably won't even be using this because they're very, very, very rare and hard to find, so the chances of me being able to get enough to make any tools is really slim. But yeah, those are the only modifications that'll be made to the game outside of my mods folder, which I will show now. And this is my mods folder. There's nothing here that changes the game more than everything that I've already shown. So this is everything, and this should give a complete explanation for any questions you might have about the survival gameplay. Just want to be transparent, and outside of everything that I just showed you, there will be no other changes. It'll be 100% vanilla, hardcore survival. So without further ado, let's get back into it. I ended up not using the Terralift Datapack due to it not being compatible with some of my mods, but after naming the world accordingly, I loaded in. Ended up spawning in a plains biome, which was Pog, and then immediately eviscerated a sheep with Black Flash. Was it overkill? Yeah, but it was cool, so I did it anyway. I figured he'd be lonely though, so I sent his brother along with him and then went to punch a tree, as you do. Did the rest of the usual Minecraft stuff, making tools and all that, got some stone, made better tools, and then blasted off. I was in search for a lava pool. Unfortunately I did not find one, but what I did find was a massive ravine that had tons of surface iron. And naturally I collected all of it. The miner subclass was actually coming in clutch here, and it made my stone pick feel like an iron one. After collecting coal and enough iron to make a bucket later on, I started working on my house. Once it was mostly constructed, I made a bed and dyed it red for nostalgia's sake, and then went to bed. What, you thought I was gonna go out on the first night to tussle with some mobs? Did you forget shell shock? Yeah, no, I wasn't taking any chances. That was on easy, this is hardcore, no thank you. I turned my shaders off for a smoother experience and then used Cursed Technique Labs Blue to make quick work with some pigs for additional sustenance. After that I went mining in a surface cave to find myself some more resources before I ran into a skeleton. The bane of every hardcore world's existence was now inferior to me. After I put him out of his misery, I resumed my resource collection and then went mining to the bottom of the world. A waste of time? Yes. In 1.17, diamonds practically don't exist. Okay. Welp, I literally just started mining and it was only day 2 and I already found diamonds. I did a little dance before mining around it and discovered it was a 4, no a 5, no a 6, no a 8 vein? I was hype. Those happy chemicals were flooding my brain, and thanks to Winter's Essentials' chance for diamonds to drop 2 instead of 1, I had a total of 13 diamonds, more than what I needed. And so I crafted them into a pick, and a sword, and heck, even an axe. I couldn't wear diamond armor, so I might as well get full diamond tools. Now I finally had the confidence to go out and kill some— What? Did he just— And then I remembered. Shortly after using Black Flash, your infinity is slightly disabled for a brief moment, which was never usually an issue because it was too brief for any other difficulty of skeletons to manage another shot in that span of time. But of course, these hardcore guys are cracked. I managed to finish him off, but I easily could have died if shell shock had triggered and some zombies turned up. Things were starting to take a little too long, so I began the art of speedrunning another. I failed. And so I had to shamefully mine each and every block of obsidian I needed for the portal like a moron. With my ego in the trash, I went through the portal and was greeted by some gold, which kinda boosted my mood a bit, but I was still salty about the whole thing, so I took my embarrassment out on a sad little ghast. For some reason I collected all these bone blocks. I couldn't tell you why I did, but I did. I then ran into one of the structures from Bosses of Mass Destruction, and the fact that I actually debated on challenging the gauntlet, I don't have any words. And right next door to that was a bastion with tons upon tons of gold, but there were 3 piglin brutes, and man, I sat here for a good minute just thinking of how I could possibly extract some of that gold. I mean, look at that hoglin! I sat here for a while just like, am I really gonna turn up a bastion, or am I gonna risk my entire world? As if in protest at the awful play I just made, I lured the piglin brutes into trapping themselves, and then I went to go in for the gold. You picked the wrong house, fool! Alrighty then, I nearly just lost my world, but I wouldn't give up that sweet, sweet loot. After I was sure the coast was cleared, I checked the chest and found some gold and a golden chestplate, which I could wear, which was pretty pog. Then I found a hoglin that was just chilling next to this piglin next to the pile of gold I was trying to get to, so I just put down Curse Technique Lapse Blue and went over to loot it. They tried to stop me, but I collected every single gold block, or at least most of them anyway. And now that I had accumulated gold equivalent to Jeff Bezos' net worth, I did tons of trading. And let me just tell y'all, some of these trades are straight up busted. While yes, they're mostly fair and pearl rates have been increased, you can get protection 4 books. That was just blatantly overpowered. I'll have to tweak that in the next playthrough. I had no idea they'd be that strong. The creator did say it wasn't OP, but that's definitely OP. But I was still gonna take advantage of it for now. And after like a good 20 minutes of trading with 2 piglins, I was stacked with fire res and prot 4. This video has lasted long enough. It was time to get down to business. I made my pearls and then went back over to the overworld. And then once I arrived there, I crafted some gold armor, and it physically hurt me to do this, but I had to make use of those protection books, and this is the only way. And then after using my iron to make an anvil, I slapped on protection 4 into most of my armor, and then we went hunting for that stronghold. Yeah, I had some pretty unfortunate luck on the way there, but it's alright. I eventually found my way, but then I nearly fell to death. Luckily, I remembered to use secondary to toggle flight, which, god, that would have been such a sad way to lose my world. Nearly as sad as the percentage of viewers who aren't subscribed. It took like an hour to find the portal room, but eventually we did find it and I jumped straight into that portal. And now we have the last hurdle to beating the world, the big bad Gene. And here's how that fight went. Yeah, it wasn't very hard. Not at all. But I collected all the experience and hopped into the end credits. I wasn't satisfied with that though, were you? No, I wanted a real fight. I wanted a real boss. Oh yeah, you guessed it, I was coming straight for the gauntlet. I wanted blood. Okay, pause. Alright, let's just take a few moments to assess the situation. Let's consider the fact that the gauntlet is a difficult, tanky boss. Let's also consider the fact that in the intro, this origin didn't even have any drawbacks yet. Let's also consider the fact that I only have an unenchanted diamond sword, and that this is hardcore. Alright, and with that all in mind, resume the clip. Yeah, that didn't end too well, did it? Well, we completed the goal, and I beat the game, and I'm satisfied with that. I would just like to take the time to thank the 3 coders for working so hard on this origin for me. I've had so much fun with it, and if you want to play with it yourself, it is in the Origins Discord. Let me know all of your thoughts about this origin in the comments below, and a massive thank you to my now 3.5k subscribers. Truly amazing. That is about it for me today though. I'm going to pass out, make sure you eat today, and we'll meet again in the next one. See ya.